differential. In other words, it would push it back.
Yeah.
And then the defender would come down like here.
Yes, and actually in the past, I have just real quick and dirty. Oh my gosh, you're gonna laugh at this so much.
No, not at all.
Especially
that's
if
brilliant. Look at that.
Hey, welcome to another episode of That Scooter Thing. I want to do a follow-up of the P200 with the 208 conversion that I did with the smart carb. I had the chance to go see Josh here on the left. He owns the Scooter Garage in Mebane, North Carolina, and he also has a dyno. Now for reference, this is a DynoJet base, but he uses different software, so we can't really compare it to other DynoJet measurings, but we do have a stock P200 that ran this dyno that we use as a reference. The goal here today is to see how much the 208 gains over a stock 200, and then try 3 different modifications, which is a lighter flywheel, an SIP Road 3.0, and a Velocity box to see which one gives us the best performance. Now while I'm sitting here editing this and keep looking at the same footage over and over again, I can't keep my eyes off the Kickstarter, and it looks like it's too low. Like it uses the wrong quadrant for the P-style Kickstarter. So the first thing I'm going to do when I go back to the shop is change that. I've never noticed it before, and I think it's one of those you can't see the forest among the trees situation, because I've been working with this bike for quite a while now. But it's not the end of the world, and it'll be a quick fix. So now let's do a baseline pull with an SR Road box. So one thing I wanted to try is an SIP Touring flywheel, which is a lot lighter than the stock P200 flywheel. The throttle was a lot snappier, which I really liked. However, the flywheel was, like, the fins were pointing in the wrong direction, and we actually developed some heating issues. So after these tests, I went back to the normal flywheel. The power gain was only about 0.4 horsepower, so I would say it's not worth it. Except for the fact that it's very snappy on the throttle. The first exhaust change I did was testing the SIP Road 3.0 with a very significant power increase. And lastly, the Velocity box, which is honestly one of my favorite exhausts when it comes to fitment. And that one did the best.
Holy shit. Josh, I'd like to return that. I'd like to return that 3.0 you got. I haven't installed it yet. It's still in the box.
So let's take a look at this dyno sheet and figure out what all this means. Because this dyno does not use DynoJet software. We don't really have a comparison except what has been run on this dyno before. So for reference, the green line here is a stock P200 that's decently adjusted and runs pretty well. That bike on this dyno developed 9.63 horsepower at 5700 RPM. The SR Road box, which is a favorite box exhaust here in the US, which is becoming harder and harder to find, has more power at the beginning. As you can see that the red line climbs faster, but then it kind of drops off and it dimples out, and that this is an experience I've heard from a bunch of people. It has trouble revving out. That did 13.18 horsepower at 6400 RPM. Then we went into 2020 technology, looking at the SIP Road 3.0, which is light blue here at 14.59 horsepower peak, as well as the Melosi, which is the dark blue, at just over 15 horsepower, 15.01 at 6500 RPM. So in comparison to a stock P200, the 208 with Melosi box and smart carb and long stroke has a power gain of 56.8% over stock. Now to me, I consider this a win. If you have a motor that has a busted crankshaft and needs the cylinder rehoned and a little bit of work done to it, and you don't want to go to a kit, consider doing this. The power gains are significant, it's a lot of fun to ride on the road, and quite frankly, it's kinda unique. It was a lot of fun working on this. It was a lot of fun working with Josh of the Scooter Garage in Mebane, North Carolina. He was super helpful. It was nice to be on the dyno with a scooter person and to put some numbers next to that gut feeling I had when I was riding this thing. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Now, excuse me, I gotta go back and change a kickstart quadrant.